Abdul Fonti, na my name still and always. And I there tonight in my capacity as the Community Engagement and Communication Specialist na the Sierra Leone Land Administration Project. Now this way I go want to welcome you to this first edition of the program Land Talk. Land Talk na program where they tell you everything where you need for know about the land, housing and country planning sector reforms where they happen currently in our salon. So in other words, we get a national discussion on land, housing and country planning administration and management through this program we name Land Talk. And of course, now the Sierra Leone Land Administration Project now aim they sponsor this program. So this program going to come to you every week, one time per the week. Now various radio and TV channels in the country. So on Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. you dey get them na SLBC TV 98.1 Radio Democracy and then Rise Radio. And then the next week you dey get them on Friday 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. na AYV TV, SLBC Radio, AYV Radio and Epic Radio. Each and every week inside this program we discuss a particular topic and we invite guests them when our professionals them from various walks of life depending on the topic where we discuss for like we come and can get this discussion. And of course it is also going to be very participatory. We encourage text messages from the general public and sometimes we go even open the phone calls so that people go able to call and ask questions, raise their concerns, give their advice with regards to how we all want to see the land, housing and country planning sector in Sierra Leone. So the topic where we get for this week here so now the Sierra Leone land reform process, the implementation of the Sierra Leone Land Administration Project where we can call for short SLAP. So the number where you for send you text message for this maiden edition now 090-11-11-19. I repeat again 090-11-11-19. Now the number that day where you go send you text message based on the topic where we discuss here and we go able to read them out. If now question you get for the guests them where we go able to put them to the guests them so that they go able to provide the answer. If now something just want to draw to the attention of the leadership of the sector, we can also able to accommodate them, they jot them down and communicate them to the authorities then. So inside this first edition, I get two big guests there. What a better way to start a land, housing and country planning sector program than having a guest in the person of the Honorable Minister of Lands, Housing and Country Planning, we are Dr. Turad Senesie. So now one of we guests them, in fact we call him the keynote guest in this maiden edition. And then the other guest we will get inside this edition of a program sponsored by the Sierra Leone Land Administration Project. And the project coordinator of that project today, we are Dr. Alpha Georgia. We will take a short break and immediately after that break we will go straight into the program without wasting time because they get a lot of things then for discuss. So stay with us. Welcome back to Land Talk and this is the maiden edition and Abdul Fonti, my name still and always. The Honorable Minister of Lands, Housing and Country Planning, Dr. Turad Senesie. Good evening and welcome, sir.
Yeah, good evening. I say kabo to family out there with the listen way.
So make we go straight to policy talk because you then at a level there. Waiting at the current policy direction of the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Country Planning.
Well, I go out let me family and know say we don't come a long way and we make steady progress to the land sector. And now we look at the legislative reforms then where we will make sure say there is a kind of security if you get land or you get property in a salon. You will be sure you go to bed, you go lay down, you sleep, you don't get one hanger because you know say what you get now you own property. So the legislative reforms they go on. Of course, again, the institutional reforms itself don't they go on, better one, and it don't lead we follow establish the National Land Commission where they up and running right now. Don't do some basic recruitment na the headquarters, and then we try for go now to the regions there gradually. That one is also progressive, and not only stop there, we also make sure we don't enact some laws. The laws that they find that they help for establish the National Land Commission. One such law that the National Land Commission Act, and then of course the Customary Land Rights Act. And we not only stop there, we don't also make sure say the regulations are also there. We now they help for make sure say we move the process forward. Not only that, we also push very, very, very strongly with the service delivery, cadastral and registration services. Also, we don't push up very hard. We don't put the system in place, and maybe towards the new year we will begin experimental and pilot and also Nasalone. Also, the focus they also again on the planning, of course, especially for the urban cities. The problem we don't get all this while therefore do with planning at the cities and all over the place we have unplanned construction development that they take place right around. We also they push that very well because the current law will get they really support that much, so they try to make sure that one is also reform. And then of course the housing sector itself, of course we don't push it back very strongly. Now we try to get developers, then some don't come, we got about 2-3 we don't really enter the market very strongly. They know they push very hard. Trap City they another 2 day we don't come, then some more they will also submit application on the express interest. We are also, so it is like we are talking about the legislative reforms, institutional reforms, service delivery, effective planning, and of course housing. Those are the focus, the current focus in terms of policy of the ministries, and that's what we do right now.
So you have been in office some 3 years now as the Minister of Lands, Housing and Country Planning. Somebody go and ask, say, what are some of the major things then when you go point at, say, in your 3 years na office as Minister of Lands, na A, B, C and D you don't achieve?
Well, a pass mark, a boku. In the first place, I think the entire Leoneans, populace, they know say the land sector was one that was very chaotic. So it took me a lot of energy together with the team and the ministry, with of course support also from the press, for make sure say we do a lot of sensitization and try for make people know their basic rights. And of course their rights, and then also they go with obligations, responsibilities. We don't do a lot. And today I will proudly say there is some sanity and decorum in the land sector, which is very important to me. The other thing also is that we've been able to streamline the processes. Today it will take you, somebody will tell you, say, you don't submit in documents in a Ministry of Lands, the documents that don't lost here and there. We don't minimize that to a greater extent. Now that we try for go digital, which we don't already start the processes, and of course for also make sure say the data is safe, we don't reduce that to a very large extent. Now you hardly hear say a document don't lost inside the ministry. Like this morning, something happened where a colleague of mine come, they try for tracing documents, then they try for tell us say don't lost. I called me PS. I say how this document go lost. The man give the particulars. And telephone self you use. They just use a mobile, a check, and say, oh no, this document we don't come in, we don't reject them. But the reason why make the person not been get the rejection alert now because he use a third party for apply for her. If na any telephone he get, they like oh rejected, they do reject her almost straight away. They go inside your phone, and they give that alert. They know say yes. I mean the document was rejected, and the reason why we reject the document you go know.
So you are telling us that people are now accessing land, housing and country planning services now the ministry digitally?
Using your mobile phone, you access most of the services that are already rendered. Services such as like so you want land, you no need for kind of the ministry for can apply. You can use your telephone, you go to the portal, you apply. You want for get your building permit, you can go to the portal, you get that. You want for make sure see you regularize your documents. If your documents are not being properly done, then you can do all of that in a day. Right online, you use your computer, you use your mobile phone, you can do that one. So that is another achievement. We are moving with it. We try for sensitize the populace. We try for make sure say the people understand. Say no, when we go digital, you get efficiency, effectiveness, and then of course the question of delay process is not being overcome when you go on the digital platform. So that are one of the things that we don't do. Another thing we don't also do is that it been start years back, but you go till now it die. We don't resurrect again. And the housing. where it was not, I mean, prioritized in the ministry before now. We don't reactivate that. Now we don't get people who don't come to the housing sector. Now it's difficult for them to see the impact, or it's difficult now for them to know, say, I mean, we are getting there. But I tell Sierra Leone, as I say, in the next 2-3 years, because they get more players when they come. More players they get in the housing sector, that will make sure so we get decent communities. And I always tell people, I say, when you embark on affordable housing, social housing, then you use also developers that will do that one. Most of the problems that they get now with communities in terms of planning will overcome them. One, you will get decent communities. Secondly, this question of unplanned communities not going to anymore, where you get very nice, decent house within a particular location. Then just by the side of that, you don't go see again one small pan body team up there. Sometimes you go again, you go see one small models. No. When you get developers, they count and design. That design is being submitted to the ministry. We have the technical expert. They sit down, they look at it, and then they advise me as the minister appropriately before we move forward. I think, say, if you're gonna John Obe now, they see one developer, and don't they go on far, and the place is so decent. The entrance is there. It is going to be a gated community. So you go get place like that, and you go inside there where you're ready for come on. You want to go upline if not for your Christmas, you want to go, or you want to go see your colleagues or family abroad. You just the lock you go. Your place is secure. It is safe. You go see say the same environment, the same way we left your property. You will meet them intact, and you will make sure say you enjoy your property. You don't get worries. But that is not only the case. The good thing is also that you get the other developers who also they go into high-end apartments. So if you're not able to buy them bungalows, you're not able to buy them duplexes. I mean, you can also go buy apartments. This is what is happening at the first world. You go to the United States, you go to America, even Senegal, now Ghana. These are the things you see there. So you go see, say the person you get a whole house with an apartment, now your property. Anytime one user is the user, and then you see the service providers, they also when they are around and they take care of that house there, they take care of the sanitary conditions of that environment there. So you see say they address also the health issues with respect to communities and where the sanitary, facilities are not there. So those are the things we are moving. And I don't see say, me and my colleagues, we don't move on so hard, we don't get lots of players that we don't they can now. So in 2-3 years time, you will see say the housing sector will get decent houses, decent communities at affordable prices, because once you get too many players, then what is going to happen is that there is going to be competition in the market, and when there is competition in the market, you will see say will force the price down. So for now, we talk to people like you say, hey, I'm not going to pay $40,000 equivalent in Leones, $60,000 equivalent in Leones. But sometimes they tell people and say, okay, you say build a house for yourself, you will end up spending more than $100,000 for an apartment or a kind of bungalow or duplex where you go and go. But that is, for the developers, and then we'll talk to the people with respect to their marketing strategy. But that's an achievement we don't do. And not stop there, we also don't do lots and lots of reforms in terms of policies. Laws, and they will make sure say we review them and we introduce new ones. And one day, like the National Land Commission Act, that one is already done. The Customary Land Rights Act is already done. Now, because we don't come in with the Land Commission, and the Land Commission is now fully established, and the Land Commission is going to be responsible for title registration. So, for support that particular aspect, they come up also with the Registration Act. This is not a new law they come with inside. We not ever done as alone. Where they can support the National Land Commission, they work. So that one, in the process, they carry on. And once we start for do registration of title, it is there is bound to be some a kind of small chamot, and therefore there's some small palaver that go get for day in terms of title ownership. So what we don't try for do also now for make sure say we come up with an adjudication act, wait for help for solve some of their small problems, and then small palaver, and then small kuskas we go then communities, and so they also come up with that, and that one of the achievements also we will bring into the land sector in terms of how do we manage our land assets. The Survey Act, and of course that of the rules instantly in process, they come up, and above all the Public Lands Act and the Unoccupied Lands Act, those ones they may don't do before, we also review them. So you see, say there is a whole lot of things that we don't do inside the land sector, or we I don't champion the drive in terms of leadership in the ministry. But one important thing, in spite of all of this we don't do, is the fact that we don't make sure we don't increase the revenue generation for government. Before now, as I say, in some years back, people will go check all of those. You will see say a whole year, the Ministry of Lands, the only thing they will boast of Now for generate revenue, we go there between them 400 million, when at 400,000 now to 500 million euros. Now in a whole year, they go they call. But for example, just this month of August, we've generated over 500 million or 500,000 old euros. Just this month. When we don't introduce the digital system, we don't make sure say some loopholes and they will be there. We don't make sure so we don't close them. We don't make sure say that contact with members of the public in terms of exchange of payment, doing payments here and there. We don't make sure so we don't tighten that one. We don't make sure so we don't streamline those processes. Now people are paying now directly into the consolidated fund. Yes, so we don't increase. We don't increase revenue base of government. In about just 1.5 years ago, we don't spend so we've increased over 50 billion. We don't put inside the consolidated fund. That one is going to be used by government to provide the social services for Sierra Leoneans. It is going to cushion a lot of other things. So many things that they would. When once we get them reforms there, so the Ministry of Lands is going to be one of the most important sector for generate revenue. They can forbid that. If we don't get the commission up and running, then we introduce now something like land tax. That one will take care of so many things that we government want to attend to. Because you'll be paying property tax and at the same time you pay land tax. This is happening in so many developed countries. Not the money when a big money, now small money no more they pay, but because when you put everything together, you will see say it will become so much. They do some calculations the other time. They look at what do we need in terms of taking care of public sector salaries and wages and salaries. When I just take something like 2 million acres of land, they don't do for the whole year for cover that of salaries and wages for all public sector workers in Sierra Leone. Just paying a minimal thing. Let's say you pay like 50,000 for just 1 acre of land. It will take care of the public service wage bill, civil service and public service wage bill in Sierra Leone. It will. But in a question of all of us Sierra Leoneans taking that position that look, we are going to move our country forward and let us make sure that we pay our own due in terms of tax. We pay and make sure say we use land judiciously. No sooner we take that direction, they will take that decision there. We will not take and say no, it's a free for all because God will don't give you anybody go use it or misuse it. No, we will not take that decision. They will say we move on. We will make a lot of money in this country. I will not need for go to IMF, neither the World Bank for go ask for money. But now there has to be the willingness on the part of Sierra Leoneans. And we'll go for C and say yes, this one is good for us. It not only stop there, no sooner we don't really get there in reforms they are so properly structured, it is going to support investment, especially in the agricultural sector. So
these are very excellent policy directions, and the steps them where you don't take are very much amazing. However, you don't allude to the fact say we're not going to get to where we want for go if we don't get the cooperation of Sierra Leoneans. We don't get the cooperation of the general public. But somebody go on for asking, maybe that general public starts with your office. There are still complaints in terms of the activities of some of you who command them, in terms of some of the challenges them where people them they get for access services here and there. So what thing you they do in terms of monitoring your team to start with for ensure say this policy direction where His Excellency the President don't give you where they implement so that everybody follow that direction there.
You see, when something don't go wrong for so long, for correct time, you're not just able for do at a go. You got to use a lot of strategies, a lot of talking, lot of you implement policies also with respect to waiting at the work ethics. I think say inside the Ministry of Lands, the things that will be happen before now, we been get to the first day I enter at the place from the step downstairs, the first floor, till go up, people have been at the step. I be facing a hope something happen in other ministry. All that crowd they see all the inside Ministry of Lands they go. Too many challenges, too many problems, the human factor. But the introduction of the digital system with respect to our processes and procedures, with respect to the revenue generation, you don't see it don't reduce them considerably. It don't reduce them considerably. Now, nobody go to map now say, hey, you bill the permit where one can pay, can I can pay for you. No, not lie. You can use now your telephone, you get your OTP or whatever they call them, you pay directly into the consolidated fund. And then the receipt is being generated. You get that one. Then you make sure say no sooner that happens, the finance department and the ministry in the all authorized for the ECU you building permit because the alert they go directly to them and they say they aware say yes, this person has paid, they don't fulfill because they don't go through all the processes. These are at the end side and so because we dey try for make sure say we streamline the processes, we dey bring in technology. You dey see say people inside the ministry then say the attitude don dey change. The ethics, the behavior, the behavior of the personnel, most really don't they change. You don't improve drastically, and we are moving. Yes, now too, we get still some people in the way we get complaints, but we'll get HRM will don't help you a lot because men and they collaborate a lot more. Most of the people in there don't discipline. Some staff they don't go for 1 year, and then suspension. Some don't go for even 2 years in suspension. Some remedial measures are being taken in terms of discipline. Some of the staff there, and the staff then say don't they come to the realization say no. If the ministry get good name, they are telling anybody saying that they work. The person go get value for me, go get respect for me. So I see say the character and attitude of most of the staff they change. And gradually, that's what we'll do for make sure say we change most of them and make sure say we all work in the interest of Sierra Leone. And it's again a question of the attitude and behavior also of the public. Because if you were to talk about corruption, not one man they corrupt too. Somebody must the way also the aid and abet that. So the public has for also realizing now, look, these measures then what they try for take, then reforms how they try for bring kind to the land sector. It is in their interest. It is in their interest. Because the turnaround time now they try for improve on. Before you go take them 1 month, 2 months for just do you build your application for grant or your application for freehold, we go take you 1-2 months. Now they say let's move on, but let's try for movement if we will do inside 1 week, maybe latest 2 weeks maximum. Because sometimes it can some document they for attach, they not able to attach them. They will send them back. We say no, this document is not attached. Let this person do this. Sometimes they submit, then the evaluation not take place yet. We say no, the valuation figure is not there. They don't value the land yet. And the person with the value, if I don't pay visit at the site, you go and make sure say they don't visit and do all the calculations. In fact, what you don't do also, as part of the digital system, there is a formula already. Who don't try? I think say they for don't upload it now. When you say go take the coordinates of your survey plan, you plug inside the formula, you go able to know what you get for pay for the freehold. So those things are there, but in all of that also, we put the cities and towns into zones. Deciding the one of the premium zones, then your calculation in terms of their freehold is different. You get some areas they want to prime areas. Then your calculations in terms of building permit, in terms of freehold, in terms of regularization, all vary. But then the formula, the way you say able for use for make sure say, you're able to tell what exactly they will get for tell you. So it is an open thing what they try for do. We don't begin experimental. We don't go sometimes we don't come back, we don't review again. The model they will still again out now.
And do you have any means for monitor this digital process workflow?
Sure.
Because the public now able for sit down at the host and then apply. But somebody will be asking the question: what if their documents the way that they apply online, they are just sitting in the desk of the director of surveys and land, for example?
Sure. I wish the camera before able for pick me laptop as it also now. So right now I do so. Here I have the application desk. The digital platform where the files are waiting at the front desk where they just submit from morning today to now. There are 53 files there submitted already. Okay. So now then they do verification day. Now the permanent secretary in office, I know say there are 8 files. They are there. So then why I will tell you say are they able for monitor when you come to the deputy secretary, 37 files are there on his table. So are they able for monitor all of these? Even when a day, na me village, na me farm, are they able to monitor all? What the files that are there also with the finance man, the accountant, are they able to monitor? They are
so this is not live or somebody they send them to you?
No, it is live. It is live.
So if somebody like apply right now, you know.
Right now they know. Right now they know. On a daily basis, are they able to know what the Ministry of Lands generates? On a daily basis, are they able to know? As you don't know, so right now you take your telephone, you send small money inside where they call for go to the consolidated for when they go land. And they register now, so are they able to know say yes, you don't send 1,000 a day. Wow. So are they able for monitor right around the clock. So this one is a daily occurrence where they happen, are they able for monitor. So if they file 10 as somebody in desk, are they able to pick her up? Where's the door clean? Before I can go to the office, and the first thing is what they do. Are they monitor all the desk clean? They are to go now because they tell me the number of days where you don't take my desk. So if you don't take up to 4-5 days, then you have not moved it from your desk. I record what is happening. In fact, we get a WhatsApp forum. I do the snap and I go put out all here.
I feel say no one talk about.
We get the WhatsApp forum. So what I can do is that when I don't see her, they don't know the total number of days that this file has taken on your desk, on your portal.
It has not moved. I got a snapper. They are going to WhatsApp forum. Outside the senior management, they are put on it. I said, look at this file. It has not moved. What is happening? You have to explain to me what to make this file not move it. So the monitoring also, I'm using the digital system to monitor activities right across the directorate in the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Cultural Planning.
The program where you dey watch and listen to na Land Talk, and they come to you courtesy of the Sierra Leone Land Administration Project, where they na the Ministry of Lands, where they play a leading role in the land administration sector reform where they happen currently in Sierra Leone. And of course, this program they come to you once every week on Tuesday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. SLBC TV, Rise Radio, and Radio Democracy FM 98.1, and then the next Friday on AYV TV, AYV Radio, SLBC Radio, and then Epic Radio. The topic where we discuss today, we look at the Sierra Leone Land Administration Project implementation. I come to my next guest, Dr. Alpha Jocham, we na the project coordinator of the Sierra Leone Land Administration Project. I see the minister, they highlight some of the gains them way he don't make, but he does not seem like a minister we can let for take too much credit for the things that we don't do. And not even Yeri he mentioned say na income with Sierra Leone Land Administration Project na the Ministry of Lands, where they reform the land sector currently. So, Dr. Alpha Jocham, I will send that question there to you. Tell us, within the policy objective, like what's the objective of the Sierra Leone Land Administration Project? Because projects then, this project getting your name, that project getting your name, but at times we don't even know within the objective of their projects there. So, tell us, who's this come out?
Yeah, thank you very much. Good evening, my family. The Sierra Leone Land Administration Project, a World Bank funded project, where they support the policy direction or directives of the ministry. As when I don't see or hear within the honorable ministers say, the ministry don't do a lot of work, a lot of progress, very significant progress in most of the areas where a highlight. And so the project come for support the ministry as well as the new National Land Commission where the ministry does set up. The project objective of the Sierra Leone Administration Project now for help the ministry establish a very efficient and an accessible land administration system. As the minister indicates, before now, in 2010 to 2015, the way you can describe the land sector now, it's very chaotic. You get landlords then where they're outdated, conflicting, overlapping. You get the land tenure security, the land tenure rights are very insecure. It's very easy for somebody to challenge your ownership right. And you know, say so many people that register one land, the people that can register 2, 3, 4 times. All right, capacity within the ministry was very weak, both technical and institutional capacity. So that was the situation at that time. So the project came with the national land policy where the ministry developed in 2015. The project came for address specifically the land issues around land administration. So the objective of the project now for help the ministry establish a very efficient and effective and accessible land administration system, because that has been the challenge. So when we say efficient and for help the ministry improve on in service delivery, all right, in cadastral services, the processing of survey plans, the registration, when the next thing we will move into for register land rights with titling, and when we say we want the system be accessible, it's not just for the ministry but also for other sectors. That's why if you say, for example, the National Revenue Authority will get access to that to the land administration system for taxes, for example, you get the private sector, when a real estate agency, they also can get access to that system. We will support the real estate development in the country. You also get the financial institutions, the banks. We also will get access to that system, in terms of mortgage or loan, etc. So that's the objective of the project, for help the ministry establish that kind of system there. And now, why that system? One, as we want to reduce the transaction time. All right, in all land transactions, from the time you start you survey your land to the time we get your title, right? And we also want to make sure that we increase the registration of land ownership, in the country, and also increase the transaction, volume within the sector. We will help, as Minister also already indicate, increase domestic revenue within.
So this is not the policy objective, and like every other policy objective, in very general, in all tell we now waiting at the various steps them where you go want for achieve that objective there. So how is this project set up? Do you have various components where they speak to specific things then where say, okay, if we address A, we go down address tenure security. If we address B, we go down address turnaround time. If we address C, we go down address service delivery. Tell us how this project will set them up.
Yeah, thanks for that question. Now, as the minister don't say, it clearly outlined the policy objective. So one of them is the legislative reform. What is the legislative reform? So he also indicates that first, the ministry already do two laws there. One, the National Customary Land Rights Act, for the first time in Sierra Leone, would allow land to be mapped, recorded, and registered under customary law. All right. He also talked about the National Land Commission Act, will lead to the establishment of the commission. So those are the first two the ministry don't do, and we also now provide additional support to the ministry for the next set of laws. We also highlight the Registration Act, right? Where they allow we for move from registration of instrument, that is what we do right now, to titling for the first time in Sierra Leone. And with that, you're enhancing or strengthening the tenure security. All right, we will reduce conflict and promote investment in almost every sector you think about, whether it's agricultural sector, the mining sector, tourism sector. Because once you strengthen standard security, that's what creates confidence within the land sector. All right. So, of course, the other law we talked about is the Adjudication Act. All right, because we get to do systematic registration. All right, in the whole of Sierra Leone, and of course, once you do registration, you must encounter problems. So you should have systems and processes in place to address those things. So we'll do that. And then, of course, the Survey Act, we will do that. We will allow you for use modern technology for do surveys as simple as possible. We will make them very accurate. All right. So that's the first part. The institutional reform we minister talk about. The vision there is forget a one-stop shop. All right. So that you will go to one institution, we now at the commission, and do all the land transaction. You don't need to move from institution to institution or location to location. So that's what the ministry will achieve. They already established the land commission and will provide support to the ministry for expand in the commission to the regional towns. So those are the things we will do specifically do. So we'll continue to provide capacity development and training to the commission so that it becomes real functional at all the levels, right? And then on service delivery, right? I mean, as the minister indicates, the ministry don't make significant, considerable progress in digitizing the processing. So what that's a low-hanging fruit. So what we want to do now for scale that up by developing a land information system for the ministry. And already we are far advanced with the procurement process for ensure in a year or two, if we don't get that system in place, we will provide that support to the ministry. And that comes with ensuring that we're able to do effective surveying. Now, to do that, we also do what we will call the geodetic network, all right, for install continuously operating system where they allow we for do accurate and effective survey. The reason why you get so many conflicts, one of the reasons, there are so many other reasons, one of the reasons why you get so many conflicts in the land sector are because we need to do accurate surveying. And why we need to do accurate surveying? Because we've lost those control points, right? So we try to re-establish them. And so that's another area where we do that one. Also, we are far advanced in the procurement process for make sure that we contract that and that happens. So within a year, we should be having those continuous operating systems, stations, as well as intensifying the geodetic network. So now, we also, capacity is the key. That's one of the challenges we don't get. So we also have a program for enhance the capacity of all institutions within the sector. We include the Ministry of Lands, the National Land Commission, as well as ORG. All right. And of course, the licensed surveyors will also, the private sectors will also be part of the capacity building. And of course, one thing we also want to make sure with such a reform where the ministry to do, you need for able to bring people along, right? And that and that includes the communities, all right? The communities, and then for do that, you for able get a very strong, extensive sensitization program, right? So that one also we did do. I'm sure in this program we go able to play some of the jingles that we don't develop and continue for do throughout the implementation of the implementation of the project.
All right. Well, plenty thank you to you, Dr. Alpha Jocham. We are sort of the greater side of relief when you talk about the things that we wanna intend for achieving in the land sector, the things that we wanna achieve already, and the realistic steps there where you don't highlight, say, the ministry is taking already and is going to continue to take for make we able to get this kind of reform in the land sector where we reduce them kind of ala way with the area. I come back to you now, the Honorable Minister. You don't talk about plenty legal reform and institutional reforms where you don't undertake already in your 3 years, which if somebody no sabi you no more, you go say, how this man manage for achieve the kind big thing there. So inside 3 years, we because the things and things that were impossible, or not even touch themselves. But on the housing sector, for example, we still get challenges. People building houses without building permits. And then some man go even take building permits, but the materials them what they use for build the house them. You watch some structures them. They can't bend the within other structures they do. It's a shame. Sarah do not get a building code. Are you doing anything in that direction for ensure say we know they in that situation usai houses they go for them because we they use poor construction materials, usai houses they go for them because the ministry not gets the capacity or the laws they not empower the ministry for able to take certain actions?
Yeah, well, again, you see, when you say the thing that we don't achieve within a short period, Dr. Fosina, I don't do it all by myself. That's not the case. You see, when there is a political will, the political leader, when you get a give that free hand, they make sure say a guide the process, they tell you say, I mean, go and do it this way, go and do it this other way, or this is what I want. You know, they give that free hand, they not to the one way they hand twist. I mean, you for do just with it, but you go talk, say, go and think about this. I think say it starts with the leadership.
na Sierra Leone, when His Excellency the President. I think say it give that free will to ministers. It's just to tell you in vision. They left you the minister for make sure say you now deploy the strategies that follow you get to that in vision day. I think say that is one of the things that we Sierra Leoneans and what follow we all know say what we are doing in the land sector is just a dream of His Excellency the President, because that is what he told me and that is what he wants and that is what I'm pursuing. So the political will is there on the part of the presidency, the reason why we progress so fast and then at the same time we bring results. Now, so the issue about building haphazardly or here and there, then of course not meeting the demands of the 21st century. You are right. There was a time when I talk on the radio, say, we don't deal in this country after independence, we'll never get building code. No, we'll never get them. We made an attempt in 2015. That time the housing unit be there with part of Ministry of Works. That document is there. So I come and make sure, say, together with my team, we'll try to get that document, we'll look at it. Was not all that comprehensive. Another partners in the Institute of Architects, is it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The Institute of
Architects, yeah. So then say develop something where we don't do. So then 2 documents and they we don't take the all 2. We don't make sure say we don't look at them, we don't ask people, we're not expert them, we don't put them together with the support of SLIDEP. We don't make sure say they don't look at, they don't identify the gaps. Those gaps are now there. So what we need to do, then 2 documents and then now we try for make sure say then gaps away the inside documents and they will try for discuss and get regional consultation right across this country also. They will try for put that document and they together for try to make sure say we get one. The architects in Sierra Leone, these are solid people, they have done extremely well. So we don't use that document, whatever they don't do. Now the SSF support themselves. Now the SSF put their heads together. They come up with that document. Now very bulky document, of course, everywhere around the globe. Building codes and are very bulky because again forgets certain things away for the inside, like the building act. Again for the part of the building code. So not until the grab number you rush with them. You get for take you 10. You make sure say the building regulations they are going to be part of that. Standards and specifications of works and materials for each and every activity in terms of construction, therefore be part of that document. So not a document where you grab no more, you take 1-2 person, when I go sit on a corner, when I go, when just with the color, when I break, hey, this is not building code. No, again for stand the test of time. So we are taking our time. We are working with the partners. We are working with those that are the technocrats, the professionals, for make sure say we develop the building code. So it is at the advanced stage, and maybe in a couple of weeks, we mend them together with architects and engineers and therefore begin go around the country, go begin the presenter to people, because we also need for tap again into the knowledge of our people all over the country. Make sure say we get waiting themselves, they think say now this way also this document for go, so that tomorrow we're ready for do the implementation. Nobody no go reject say no, this one not to this one with the talk, not to this one we want. So we are taking our time. So we are doing this in the interest of Sierra Leone, and we want to make sure that this document also will stand the test of time. So the building code, as you don't mention, so you know every day. Now they work towards making sure that Sierra Leone also get a own building code. So I not cut you. This way you they say so you are doing in the interest of Sierra Leone, and we everybody really knows say in the interest of Sierra Leone you do. Within a country also unfortunately like several other countries them across the world, or like how like you always talk, people always they resist change. Their changes here so we good for the country and not good for certain individuals them. So man now usai in the eat palan grabby na in you the car block so man we don't feel say maybe in Fambula in a Pedro da Sintra na him get an entire Angola town for example na there you the car lock so how are you coping or addressing the resistance that they from the land grabbers, for example, and the local authorities also. The people that they try for even put order, the chiefs they ask them say they from say with this minister they count so now for can take the land the right where the paramount chiefs them get. So are you still in speaking terms with the paramount chiefs, for example, and other stakeholders? Well, one of the things that I will say here is that the land sector, you get too many players, too many actors. You have some where it is about themselves. It is not about the advancement of Sierra Leone. You get some where for some reasons that they also look at the national interest, and then they are also cooperating, they are also collaborating. For example, the paramount chiefs, Me and they very good working terms. These are the people that are the custodians of the land on behalf of government in the provinces. There is no way you are going to do land sector reforms without having them into this whole equation. So me and them, we're in a very good talking terms. We're in a very good conversation. In fact, there is these are the other interesting thing where some people are not going to know. If you don't engage people, you don't know the potential, you don't know the skills level. But when you engage people, then you go begin for know what's not their skills level, what's not their potential, and how do they contribute also to your own dream. You go be surprised for no say inside Sierra Leone, one of the paramount chiefs, now top-notch specialist in terms of land reforms inside Sierra Leone. And currently we're able to identify the World Bank support we. He is one of our consultants, and we are working together. No, so sir?
Yes, sir.
He's giving us lots and lots of knowledge. Now we get wealth of experience. He was out there, he studied, he has the skills. But when you see her, you know, no see this person also. This is one of the paramount chiefs, and he is with us, and he's one of our consultants. So when you engage people, you make sure say you respect them and you give them that due. I mean, they don't use the gear to them. They tell them, what are you dream? What did the president say law will do? How do we get it? They ask them for their input. You will able to get that done. So today the paramount chiefs we are working. I have enormous respect for them. They know that what we are doing is good for Sierra Leone. They know that once we get them right, we're going to solve conflict. We're going to minimize conflict. So we are in the work. They don't stop there. You can't like the urban centers, Freetown, Kenima, Kono. I mean, these are the hot seats. But local, not much. Not they come from there in terms of where they come. But these ones, now hot place there in terms of land administration, land management, and inside them. Because the interest in Boku. You get interest, people like where they within the ministry, you get people like where they outside the ministry, various professions are not going to name them also. Today, they are adjudicating land cases in their own small offices. They go down, then they know stop, you will see they write letter directly to me, they're asking for land implement. These are the interest groups. But in actual fact, their responsibility is not about land administration. Their responsibility is not about land management. They have no business also adjudicating land cases, but they are doing it. But I can understand, so I get to manage all of that. You don't stop it. You also get other sector or other players where they get a kind of enterprise, a whole cabal. Then also you have the land grabbers, you have other interest groups from some other profession. They are all in that one. But what do I do? Many times I sit down and no say yes. Now, one of the things there is that out of ignorance, they don't know the rules. They don't know the laws, they don't know the regulations. So many a time, I take me time, I invite them and come, then sit down. I take them through the laws. I take them through what are the responsibilities of the ministry, what the various directorates and they're about, what the country planning regulations they're about. Those laws are old, but they are still there. We are not reviewing them. But the laws are there. When they tell you who are responsible for land administration, who are responsible for country planning, who are responsible for housing, they are there. But you see, say over the years, because their law and the people that not be implement there. I mean, everybody be don't design in your own way in terms of approaching land administration. But as I say, it's a question of how do you manage interest, and I'm managing all the interests. The reason when you see the land sector, they don't now they not go ever done. They not go ever done because some people then go no say this one is wrong, but they go still come forward.
Honorable Minister, how are you effectively collaborating or partnering with the Edmanden na the Western area rural, for example? Because some man even they tell we say Edmanden, I get Edman paper or mean a community land na I get. How are you looking into some of those things? And then you get certain names them like Western area rural, for example. You know, like how we they say, I don't go name names, but like people are going to pass here now this pastor in the tribe for also, or now this chief in the tribe for also, because their names continue to feature. You know that they give land them to people them saying a community land them. I really want to make we use this program as a platform for let we able for know the difference between the workway Ministry of Lands they do and the work with we respectable Edmanden they do.
The only institution we will tell you say this is a community land and the Ministry of Lands. No other person, no other authority, no day. We go tell you say this is not community land. Now, only the Ministry of Lands I go tell you this is a community land. And how community land they come about? Community land, now land where the ministry, especially for the Crown Colony. Now land where the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Country Planning they identify say this particular land will they put also for community use, and many a time for social services. Like if you want police post, you want hospital, you want playground, you want health post, schools. Then land there so. Now the Ministry of Lands, now in the give to a particular community say this one is for this purpose. So for let you grab one we say this one our community land, no. Now only the Ministry of Lands now go talk say this land now a community land. Now the issue about also headman then I party there. Then they will jail this money says from the kind of office. One particular one, the 1 or 2 days, where them a day before now, where they don't understand, based on my engagement with them. They don't know their responsibilities. They don't know exactly what they're waiting for they do. So now they tell the company that they just elect this meeting. Where can one go this way also? Now they tell us, hey, not a responsibility that for managed land inside Western area. The responsibility of headman and at the Western area now for managed people. It is not about land management. Because all the land in the Western area now a crown colony, it belongs to the state. So it becomes yours when it is conveyed to you by the state. But you go sit down and somebody say, well, I mean a hitman, now me don't sell and gear. No, now grab, you don't grab the land. And he's committing an offense. Because the property belongs to the state.
Because I see somebody even they write about you in newspapers, them say hitman don't sell gear land, you don't go take that land.
No,
and you land grabber.
Me for so long now, the newspaper or social media comments, reactions here and there, and they even countenance. In fact, I need to read them. Now people like you tell me, I say, ignore that. Because not all newspaper they solve your land problem. If you think you have right to the land, the court they for let you go. When you go there, they will go now present the cadastral map for sure say this one is a state land and it has not been conveyed by the state to this headman also. So you have no business buying it from this headman. The headman is responsible for manage people within any own jurisdiction. Where they get small plumber then is solver. And now for health government also for administer government policies in those communities. That's their responsibility. Their responsibility is not to sell the state land. But I think say men they don't come a long way. We don't understand that. And this morning they tell us, I say, look, this question of everybody say this not my land, this not my land, land only become yours when it is conveyed to you by the state. Sanctioned by the state. Anything other than that, you are a land user. Because the land na Sierra Leone, na it makes Sierra Leone a sovereign state. Now the land makes Sierra Leone a sovereign state. And if the land makes Sierra Leone a sovereign state, it means the land in Sierra Leone belongs to the state. In the provinces, it is in the custody of the chiefs. Now, where government they take land at the provinces for use, government they go compensate the chiefs for the use of that land. Because the land belongs to the state, the land makes Sierra Leone a sovereign state, and it is in the custody of the chiefs. So if the chiefs are inside their own chiefdoms, they also allow other people to also have access to that land. We are all land users in Sierra Leone. The land they become yours when it is conveyed to you by the state or sanctioned by the state. Now, even the one when you own, whether you private property, when you do the survey plan, if you transfer the ownership to someone else, first you come back to government. The reason why the director of survey is by law. Now they sign the documents and now they countersign them after you don't get your license surveyor. Right. The reason for that, before the colonial people are left now, so now for let each and every Sierra Leone know say the land in Sierra Leone what makes what Sierra Leone, what you would call today Sierra Leone as a sovereign state. All right, thank you so very much, Mr. Minister. As we wrap up now, Dr. Alpha George Cham, what do people therefore look forward to in terms of output from this Sierra Leone Land Administration project?
Well, in terms of land output, I think the big thing we can do, we go for do systematic registration once we put everything in place. So then go for the we go for count, particular areas, for Western area, and then including 4 of those districts, Bo, Kelma, Makina, and Loco. So we can start to do systematic registration. All right. And that means we the map, record, and then register the land. And that will involve, employ so many. We don't create a position for para-surveyors and paralegals so that we get the manpower we need for do the surveying. And of course, land information system, they will see that in place, and sensitization, we also will see that as well. And of course, now we see the new laws then, and we'll educate the public on the new laws then.
All right, plenty, thank you. Finally, Honorable Minister, in 60 seconds, I beg your pardon, I need to give me Minister 60 seconds, so I get mine. What will be the final statement where you go on for say to Sierra Leoneans them about the future of the land sector under you administration?
Well, the future is bright. The future is good for Sierra Leone. I just go appeal to me family where they listen we and where they see we on TV say they're there for patience. The problems that we inside the land sector, will they correct them and will they go down gradually? And I think say there is better tomorrow for Sierra Leone. There is a question of us all understanding ourselves as Sierra Leoneans and us, I mean, coming to the realization that this is the only path for us to solve the land problems in Sierra Leone. And will they solve that not only because we want to go below, but for let it benefit the people of Sierra Leone. That is very important. So let them patient with we and let them make sure we all work together. My doors are open, my office is always open. Me and the minister when I not get time for say can book appointment. When you have problems, come let us discuss. The little idea we myself get a share with you, they are tell you say let us have it this way. Yeah. So
all right. Plenty thank you to you, the Honorable Minister of Lands, and plenty thank you to you, Dr. Alpha George Cham. Plenty thank you to my production team led by Mr. Claude Kenny, and plenty thank you to the management of SLBC and the radio channels them we also link up. This now the maiden edition of the program where we call Land Talk. We're going to come to you once every week, and we bring the program to you now the community engagement and communication specialist now the Sierra Leone Land Administration Project, and Abdul Fonti now my name still and always.